Hello, hello, hello. Welcome back. This is Coach Victor's finally at 40. I just want to thank you guys for joining me. Thank you for the likes, the shares, subscribes. Thank you all for the new subscribers. I really just thank you guys for continuing to allow us the opportunity to be able to grow with you as we continue to go forward and move forward, taking our best step forward and continuing to strive to be the best person we can be. Remember, finally at 40 is not about anyone but you. It's not about anyone but me. And so all we're doing is we're striving to be the best version of ourselves on a daily basis, consistently and constantly doing what we need to do in order for us to continue to grow and be better. So thank you for joining. Thank you for likes. Thank you for subscribing. Thank you for sharing the videos with others. I really appreciate everything you guys are doing to help the channel to grow and to help us to continue to be the best version of ourselves. So today we're going to talk about being overexposed and contents under pressure. Overexposed and contents under pressure. If you've ever been to Dubai or Chicago or Paris or New York, or you've been around or Malaysia or Seoul or Shanghai, you've been around or near some of the tallest structures in the world. The Burj Khalifa is the world's tallest building. The Sears Tower was the world's tallest building before the Burj Khalifa was completed. There are many towers and structures in New York, Shanghai, Seoul, and other major cities, including Malaysia. However, if we live near or live in these cities I just named, every day we drive by these amazing engineering feats as if they're just part of the background of the city. The wonder and the specialty and the excitement is gone and swept away by the problems and concerns of daily living. Some of us are on the, some of us are or feel the same way about ourselves or our gifts. Life has thrown all kinds of stuff our way, and we tend to get swept away in daily living. We start operating in default mode, and we stop utilizing the gifts and walking towards the purpose, and we settle for what's convenient. Now, I really want to talk about this for a minute because we talk about the default, default mode, walking around in default mode. If you have a tablet, or if you have a cell phone, or if you have a computer, default is that restore mode. Where you restore back to the original mode. You want to sell the item, or you've had a problem with it, and you've had to take off all of the updates and all the upgrades so you can get it back to its factory settings. That's what factory settings. And that's kind of what default mode is for us. We walk around with nothing that we've learned, nothing that we've accomplished, nothing that we've done. All the things that all the progress we've made in trying to get to a better place in our life. Going through this program. We throw all that away because we feel like people don't appreciate us for who we are. We feel like people are not aware of us. We feel like people don't care about us. And so we put all of our hopes, all of our dreams, all of our stock of who we are in others' opinions of us. Stop doing that. Stop doing that. It is not necessary for you to assume that just because somebody else doesn't like you, or because somebody else doesn't think you're special, or because somebody else does not appreciate you, that you have no value. This is the wrong mindset. This is the wrong way of thinking. And so we're going to break ourselves out of that right now. In the last video we talked about shake it off. Shake all that off, and we need to walk in the greatest version of who we are. We stop walking toward our purpose, and we go for what's convenient. We go for what's convenient rather than pressing into our greater capacity. This is similar to driving or riding or walking or taking the metro by these great structures, these great engineering wonders, and saying, "Oh, it's just a building." No, it's not. It's not just a building. It's a vision. It's an idea. It's a compilation of thought. It is a dream, a unifying purpose that allows people from multinational backgrounds to see the same thing in their mind on the drawing board and on the drafting tables, and then begin to actualize those things. This is exactly who you are. You are a dream. You are a vision. You're an idea. You're a compilation of thoughts. We are created in our Creator's image. We are created in His likeness, and so they sat down and looked at us, and they designed us specifically for the purpose and the mandate that they placed inside of us. And so we have to understand that we're more than a building. We are more than just an afterthought, a meandering through life with no purpose. We have to understand that we can't allow others' ideas or opinions about us define how and what we think of ourselves. Operating in our gift may at times seem tedious and tiresome. We may not always be as fluid as we would like to be. Nevertheless, we must continue in consistency. We must continue in consistency. Say it with me. I must continue in consistency. Although the Burj Khalifa is an inanimate object, it does not stop being the tallest building in the world just because people are no longer enamored with it or in wonder about it or amazed by it. No, it continues to stand in its structure, undisturbed by the opinion of others. The more we work on our craft, the more time we put in developing our gifts and talents, the more we are obligated to finish what we started. Listen to me. It is important for us to understand that we're doing what we do for ourselves. We're doing what we do because we're building an ecosystem around us. We talk about the redwood tree and how the redwood, it continues to grow and expand and has the two-way root system. And so what's happening with it is as it's growing and expanding and becoming the tallest tree in the world, the tallest trees in the world, it is taking in sunlight. It is taking in the climate. It is taking in all the things it needs, the nourishment. But what it's doing, instead of hogging it for itself, it begins to bring it down into its trunks and down into its roots, and it begins to feed all the things around it. So it's important for us to understand that we have to be strongly and firmly rooted enough to be able to feed everything around us. And so in Luke 14:20 it says like this, for which of you desiring to build a tower does not first sit down and count the cost, whether he has enough to complete it? Otherwise, when he has laid the foundation and is not able to finish it, all who see it begin to mock him, saying, this man began to build and was not able to finish. We must walk in steadfast perseverance. We must walk in steadfast perseverance. Just because someone else is not impressed with our gifts or our talents or our calling or our abilities or on any given day does not make us commonplace. It does not mean that we are ordinary. The Burj Khalifa was 6 years from excavation to opening. The Burj Khalifa took 6 years from excavation. What that means is when they first started digging the holes to lay the foundation, from that point and to the time that it was fully structured and fully built, it was 6 years. So we have to understand that what we're doing, who we're about, what we're becoming takes time. It's not going to happen overnight. We're not going to build. We're not going to dig down into the ground and into our discovery, and then all of a sudden become on the next day. It's not like that at all. It takes time, but we have to be consistent in operating in our gift. We have to be consistent and walking in our ability. We have to be consistent and building our attitude and taking on the right mindset and feeding ourselves with the right nourishing nourishment, with what to consider nurture and foster positivity inside of us, and continue to grow and through as we continue to be consistent and be constant in those things, you'll begin to see things inside of us change. And when things inside of us change, things around us will change, because what is on the inside of us will begin to permeate to the outside. We must be consistent. We must strive to be consistent in all that we're doing. We must be consistent. The Burj Khalifa is 6 years from excavation to opening. From the time we start our discovery process until the time we walk fully in our purpose, our mandate will take some time. And yes, we will come across some people who may dismiss us or try to minimize us, but that has more to do with them and less to do with us. Our goal is to consistently and constantly walk in the best version of ourselves every day. From January 2010 until this very moment, the Burj Khalifa has been the tallest structure in the world. It does not matter who passes by it or what their viewpoint of it might be. It still is what it was meant to be. To be at its inception. We are who we are meant to be, and we are walking. We are a work in progress. No matter what anyone thinks what they think about us has nothing to do with us. And I want to reiterate this over and over again. What somebody else thinks about you has nothing to do with you. What somebody else says about you has nothing to do with you. What somebody else might talk to someone else about you has nothing to do with you. That's more about them than it is about you. And when you understand that, when you can consume that, when you can digest that and continue to walk and move forward, no matter what people are saying about you, no matter what the voice of the crowd is saying, no matter what the people are saying, no matter what the voice of the haters are saying, you have to continue to walk in the purpose of who you are. Because no matter what they say, every morning you have to wake up being you. Every day you have to look in the mirror at you and what you think about yourself and how you carry yourself, how you conduct yourself, and how you continue to grow and mold yourself. It's what is going to establish you in your future. We talked about man, I love this. We talked about how elevators, on the elevator, when you get on the elevator, Burj Khalifa has 120, I think it's 120 or 220 stories. I can't remember exactly, but has, I think it's 220 stories. And on that elevator, we get on the elevator, and then as you're going up the elevator, you go from the ground floor to the first floor, and then we talked about how the ground, the ceiling for the ground floor is the floor for the first floor, which means that when you get from the ground floor to the first floor, the maximum of which is the ground floor is the minimum it takes to go up for the first floor, and on up and on up and on up. And so we have to understand that as you're going up, and as you're maximizing your levels, when you get to the next level, the maximum output from the last level is the minimum input for the next level. Let me say it again. The maximum output for the last level is the minimum input for the next level. And so as we continue to grow and elevate and go further up and go higher and higher, our maximum has to change, because a minimum for the next level is the maximum for the last level. And so when you're running on the treadmill, we talked about running on the treadmill. I told you how I like to push myself every day. What I will do is I start from, let's say, 20 minutes, and then the next day I can't do 20. I do at least 21. But normally I go up by 2. So I'll go 20 today, I'll go 22 the next day, and then I'll go 20 for the next day. And it is my obligation to finish. Even if I get tired at 17, I don't stop on the treadmill. I keep going. I might slow down the pace a little bit so I can catch my breath. But nevertheless, I have to keep running. Why? Because once you learn to stop something, once you learn to stop at something, once you learn to quit at something, it becomes contagious. It becomes a habit, and you do it, and you do it all the time. And so I want you to start thinking. And no matter what's going on around you, no matter what's happening around you, you have to keep going. You have to keep moving. You have to keep stepping. You have to keep moving into your purpose. You have to learn to be consistent, no matter what it is. If you got to slow it down a little bit, you still got to keep going. If you have to speed up, you still got to keep going. No matter what the situation is, you must continue to move. You must continue to strive to be the best person, the best version of yourself. Every single day, and every day you need to hold yourself accountable. Don't wait for someone else to hold you accountable, because your expectation of you is different from theirs, and their expectation from you is going to change on a day-by-day basis based on what their emotional feeling is, on what their mindset is, on what's in their heart, and what their motive might be, what their agenda might be. So you can't depend on somebody else to hold you accountable, because you don't know what their agenda is. Maybe they don't want you to be your best version of yourself. So maybe they're going to try to give you something more complicated and difficult, because they want you to fail. This is why we can't depend on their opinion. That's why we can't wait for them to to be appeased or to be pleased with what we're doing. Discovery is all about us. It's about us being the best person of ourselves. It's about us digging deeper into who we are, so we can continue to grow, and grow. And think about this. And this is the thing I really want to talk about: the Burj Khalifa. The Burj Khalifa is the tallest structure in the world. And it is a building, which means that inside the building there are offices. And inside the offices, there are desks, there are file cabinets, there are chairs and all these other. But on top of that, there are people. And so the foundation for the Burj Khalifa was not only built sturdy enough to hold the weight of the building. It's built sturdy to hold the weight of the elevators, of the desk, and all the different offices, the glass, the steel, the wiring, and all everything that goes on the Burj Khalifa. The foundation was set to hold that. And so when we're on our discovery phase, we're digging a foundation that is set not just to hold us for who we are right now, but to hold us for who we're becoming and who we're going to be in our future. Because in our future, we're going to have other things that might be attached to us, or might be gathering around us. It's like the redwood. As the redwood grows and it begins to feed the ecosystem, the things around it begin to grow. And as those structures begin to grow as well. So now the redwood has to feed more into the environment, and we're the same way. As we grow, we have to feed more into our environment. So everything around us is going to grow, and everything that's inside of us is going to permeate out and begin to allow things around us to continue to grow. The foundation for the Burj Khalifa was built specifically to hold whatever the maximum amount of people it can hold in the elevators and all the other stuff too. And so even though the content for the foundation is under structure, it still holds. It still holds. So even though you feel like you're under pressure, you still have to be strong enough to hold. You have to hold, and you have to continue to build, and hold and carry the weight of everything around you, because what's inside of you is just strong enough to hold on to and to carry everything around you. You're built that way. You're built that way. You're built that way. And when you begin to excavate, when you begin to understand that the foundation that you're building is not just for you, you'll begin to understand how important it is for you to sit down and count the cost. And you have to let go of things that don't serve you. And you have to build up on things that do. And trust yourself enough to know that you are everything you need to be to move forward into where you're supposed to be. What others think about you has nothing to do with you. What others think about me has nothing to do with me. Their thoughts are their thoughts. Their thoughts, their opinions, their mindset is going to change on a day-by-day basis. And if I allow their thoughts, their opinions, their mindsets to permeate my lifestyle, then I'm going to stop being who I am, and I'm going to be what they want me to be. And I can't make it like that. You can't make it like that. So you have to be more, do more, dig more, excavate more, build more on who you're supposed to be. And in the end, you will be your own Burj Khalifa. You'll be your own structure. And your foundation will be able to handle the weight of everything you have on the inside of you and all that is coming to you. Okay? This is Coach Vic. This is Finding Your 40. Like, share, subscribe. And thank you for all the new subscribers. Thank you for those who continue to watch the channel, who continue to help us move forward and push forward and get this message out to other people. Thank you. God bless you. Have a wonderful day. Coach Vic, Finding Your 40, and I'm out.